Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for this morning's Breakfast Tyne. Hope you're all doing well on this Friday morning. Of course, it is now Cellar Cup weekend, and, well, football will be back at St James's Park ahead of the Premier League opening fixture, in which we go to Aston Villa next Saturday lunchtime. And, of course, all the Cellar Cup games will be live commentary here on Matchday Live on the Toon Review. So join me and Billy tonight at around 7:15, and it's a 7:30 kickoff. But let's look at the morning news. There isn't much, to be honest. Certainly changing from yesterday. No real change in who we are going for, who the projected targets are. I want to start with Malik Chow, though, because it looks like, depending on, again, who you believe in the press, that we have upped the bid for Malik Chow. Now, AC Milan made it clear that their manager did not want to sell the centre-back at all. He wasn't wanting to lose him. He's still in his plans, despite him not really having a great season last year. However, it looks like that Newcastle United are pushing for that signing. Now, look, we've looked at Chow. Certainly, you know, Alex went into depth with him the other night, and he hasn't had a great season last year. It's plain knowledge. He hasn't done great. However, we look at the players that Eddie Howe has recruited over the years and how much he has improved these players. And certainly for me, Malik Chow is one of those that could fit in and improve. Fabian Schär, as good as he's been for Newcastle United, he is definitely a worry. You know, aging now, and is he as quick? Is his concentration levels going to be high? You know, we know that he slips in concentration quite a lot last season. I just don't see him being there for the full sort of every game. He can't do that now. So we do need a replacement there. You know, when we looked at the squad last night in the preview show for the Cellar Cup, I think that highlighted to everybody, really, when you saw all the players. You saw all the players that we have. The squad is threadbare, guys, and we're a couple of injuries away from another disaster, quite frankly, this season. So we still need players in the door. Now, yes, there is rumblings around that Chow himself does not want to come to Newcastle. But again, it depends what you read. Some journalists are reporting, yes, he does want to come. Others are reporting saying that he doesn't, or AC Milan don't want to sell. So it's all up in the air with Chow for me. Pound for Pound Boxing says Malik Chow is a very good defender. He has just been in a team who has had a dip recently. If Eddie gets his hands on him, he will improve and up his game. Howe didn't sign Bruno, Botman, Gordon, Isak, Tonali. That was Amanda, and Tonali was the snake. Tonali was the snake? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but interesting trolls. Super chat in from Aussie Mag Hal. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Remember, super chats are available. If you want your comment guaranteed to be read out, drop us a super chat. And as a thank you for that, we guarantee to read your comment out on the show. Don't forget to keep hitting the like button, guys. Really important to keep the channel going and growing and growing and growing. And with your help, we can do that. And of course, memberships are available if you want to hit that join button just underneath us. Regular prizes given out to our members as a thank you for supporting the channel. Stefan says maybe he means he was hidden in the grass like a hidden gem. Possibly, yeah. I'm sure we'll explain that anyway. But look, Malik Chow, is he going to be that big sign that we want? I think we have to forget that now, guys. I genuinely think we have to forget this big elite signing that we all hoped we were going to get this summer. It hasn't quite worked out like that, and I don't think we're going to get that marquee signing. We need players in the door now who can do a job. Are they going to be the elite names? Maybe not. However, we still need players in the door who are going to really put up a fight for Newcastle United this season and help us get to where we want to be. We've got an awful lot of games coming up, and it's very important that we have a squad that is capable of getting through them. Look what happened 2 years ago, last time we were in the Champions League. Do we really want a repeat of that? When we had 11 injuries or something that was just crippling to the squad? I don't know. A lot of you are asking this morning about, Scalvini. Obviously, Malik Chow's getting mentioned. What is happening with Scalvini? Absolutely nothing. Certainly, as fans we've heard nothing from the journalists regarding Scalvini or any sort of return for to go back for him. You know, Atalanta made that pretty obvious that they did not want to lose Scalvini. They were holding on to him. They see a big future for him at the club. And I think the only, again, the similar to Malik Chow, really, these clubs are only going to sell if we go in and really make it impossible for them to refuse the bid. I think that's where we stand now as a football club. And we talked about that last night. It surely now is the time where we are going to have to go in and overpay for a couple of players. You know, we can't go in now with such little time left in the transfer window and keep lowballing these offers. We just can't do that, guys. We can't do that anymore because we're going to lose out on so many signings. And then we're in deep shit. I mean, I think we're in deep shit anyway, if I'm openly honest with you. Ross, thank you for your super chat, Tonali and Dusan Vlahovic swap. No thanks, Juve. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them reports this morning. But look, Vlahovic, we've always said, would be a fantastic signing. However, his wages just price him out of anything because although he's a free agent now, he's still going to want the massive money for his services. And Newcastle have already proved over this summer's window that there's no chance that they're going to, you know, rock the boat with the wage structure. If we were going to do that, we'd have given Isak what he wanted. You know, what's the point of, you know, getting Vlahovic in for the same amount of wages that we could be given to Isak had he been given a new contract? Rabinho says, I'm happy to leave the elite players out for now and search for hungry players like Botman, Bruno and Gordon. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we need to do. What's happening with Visser? Well, funny enough, Craig Hope's reported this morning that Brentford are making a move to sign Dango Quadra from Katara from Bournemouth. Now, this could unlock the door to Newcastle United finally getting Visser in. It's a long, drawn-out process, as everything seems to be with Newcastle United at the minute. However, they are in search for another striker, which tells you that obviously, if they can get a replacement for Visser, they will finally let Visser go to Newcastle. Visser himself has already made it public that he would love to move to Newcastle United. He's very excited by that move and playing in the Champions League, etc. But I don't think Visser is the ultimate Isak replacement, by the way. I definitely think that Isak leaves in this window. I've said this many times. A lot of you may disagree with that and think, oh, he's staying. We can't afford to lose him. I think if Liverpool up their offer, Newcastle will find that far too good to turn down, whether they've got somebody in or not, which is upsetting, really. But he's made his bed now, Isak, as far as I'm concerned. Strand Larsen would be a great signing. Him and Visser, two Premier League gems. I'm not sure on Strand Larsen. I have to be honest. He doesn't fill me with much excitement. The times I've seen him play, I haven't exactly been overwhelmed by him. As if to say, yeah, he's the man that's going to grab us a lot of goals and things like that. I'm not filled with a lot when it comes to Strand Larsen. Visser, dramatically improved since he's been in the Premier League. And Thomas Frank, let's be honest, did a fantastic job with him over the years at Brentford. And he's definitely improved and somebody that would certainly improve our front line. No doubt about that. Gleb Vlahovic, he's free, so can give him more wages. And the point is, Paul, that we are gaining 150 million off Isak, so can put towards extra. That might be a plan. That might not be a bad idea. But to be honest, I'm not seeing any links to Vlahovic at all. Nothing in the press. I mean, look, for all we know, they might be talking to Vlahovic behind the scenes and keeping it really, really hush-hush. But I would have thought the same as what has happened to all our other targets over the summer. When we put in for a bid or we're interested in the player, the agent then makes it known to the press that Newcastle United is sniffing around. And then that's possibly to see if there's any other interest from other clubs that the player might be interested in signing for. It's just the way things work at the minute. As frustrating it is for us, I don't think any transfer can stay quiet now because the agents make it known to the press. And obviously, they want to get the best deal possible they can for the player. And the player may have a couple of clubs in mind if they pop up and are interested in. People who were disappointed in if we get Larsen, don't be. He's absolutely brilliant. Classic number 9 and 14 goals in a struggling Wolves side. He's a beast. Well, there you go. Again, like we said earlier on in the show, if Eddie Howe gets these players in, we know that Eddie is capable, very, very capable, and has a high success rate of really improving all these players, doesn't he? So, whoever he brings in, see what Eddie can do with them first. We can't just sit here and go, oh God, let's try and be a bit positive about some of the players that may come through the door. Of course, a lot of people have commented on Nicholas Jackson saying, "Oh, he doesn't fill me with any." It's the price tag more than anything with Nicholas Jackson. The price tag, but I just think he's a bit of a head case, me, and I don't think Eddie could possibly trust him. The way he's behaved on the pitch at times, no. John says, looks like we're settling for 6th to 8th in the Premier League for next few seasons and remaining a selling club like we always have been. It's so sad. Blenchy says, we cannot get an Isak replacement. He's top tier. We can get top tier. We're not that club yet. Well, look, you can't replace Isak. Let's be honest. He's one of the best in world football right now. And you can't replace him. That just doesn't happen. When you lose a player of Isak's caliber, I don't think there's anybody that could step into his shoes right now and say, yeah, there's a direct replacement who's going to, be the same kind of player Isak is. There's many different styles of strikers out there. You've got the physical ones, you've got the Isak ones who tend to stay away from the physicality of it all, but have good feet. Then you've got the 6-yard sniffers who will just stay around that box and rough up the centre-backs, old-style centre-forwards, who stay in that position simply to score goals. And Eddie's looking at, quite a few different variations of strikers over the summer, isn't he? But we can't get any in the door. Eli says there's many available players we never even went to, such as Watkins, ter Stegen, Donnarumma, Tomiyasu, or make inquiries about Paqueta and Tomori. But no, back to Gahey, who doesn't want us. Well, listen, Gahey, apparently now Tottenham are also, and Chelsea, sniffing around Gahey. So, look, we could be back to square one when it comes to Mark Gahey as well. If we were say, right, we're back in for him, other clubs will just say, yeah, we'll have a look at him as well. And the fact that Tottenham and Chelsea are in London, it would mean that he doesn't have to uproot and come all the way up here. So I don't know. However, Tomiyasu, I think, is a fantastic player, definitely. Been very, very impressed with what I've seen of him. Ollie Watkins has been mentioned many times with Newcastle United. And do you know what? I think the situation that we're in right now, I would take Ollie Watkins in a heartbeat. I think he's got a good Premier League record. I mean, would he fill the Newcastle fan base with massive excitement and joy? And no, we know that. But at the same time, he is possibly a player that we can get in for 2 or 3 seasons. And he knows where the back of the net is. He knows about the Premier League. And to be honest, there's not many other clubs sniffing around for Ollie Watkins. He's been linked to a couple, but there's never really been any serious inquiries about him. And Newcastle could be the perfect move for Ollie Watkins. Champions League football, as we've said many times. Of course, it's a World Cup year. He's going to want to push himself to be in that England squad for the World Cup. What better chance? Come to Newcastle, playing in the Champions League at the very highest level and proving yourself to Tuchel. I think it's a move that could happen, depending on the price again. But of course, we know that everything is dependent on the valuations that these selling clubs will put on. Watkins apparently has made it clear that he could be up for a move, but we'll have to wait and see. I know a lot of you have mentioned Vlahovic. Visser has always been a Wilson replacement, Paul. I agree. 100% with that. Hippie says, good day, Paul, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. Jessica, good morning. Yeah, I agree. Isak has made his bed. Isak lay on this. There's no coming back this one. Well, if you believe what the likes of Romano and etc. are now saying, is that he's perfectly happy being away from the first team because he doesn't see his future at Newcastle now. He wants to leave. So I would say to Isak, hand in a transfer request. Make it official. Make it official. Hand in a transfer request and make it official that you want to leave the football club. But then all the endorsements that you get, etc., are out the window, of course, when you hand in a transfer request. So he's got that to think about as well. But he either makes a transfer request or he has a press conference apologising to everybody at this fantastic, amazing football club that you've been a dick. And you try and repair the damage that has been massively done over these last few weeks, but I don't think that will happen. Peter Shields says, I hear you, Paul, but Strand Larson has been playing at Wolves. No disrespect to them, but he would get far better service at the Toon. That is one way of looking at it, definitely, Peter. No doubt about that. Because he would get better service. Wolves struggled a lot last season. They did start picking up, of course. However, what was it they said? 14 goals in the struggling Wolves side. That's not bad at all. I'm just saying from what I've seen of him, and maybe I haven't seen enough of him to make that kind of decision to see whether he would fit in or not. But yeah, you're right. He would get much better service, especially with the wingers we've got now. Graham says if we do get anyone in, it will only be one more signing because it takes that long to get a player in. That's the worry, isn't it? That's the worry, that if we turn around and we go for a new target, how long is that target going to take to get over the line? And, I know it's a cliche saying the over-the-line crap again, but unfortunately, we have to. There's no other choice. We have to try and get players over the line. But I don't want to hear the excuse on deadline day when it's all done and dusted, the window slams shut, and then somebody from Newcastle United comes out with that crappy comment saying, we tried, we really did try, but we couldn't get the deal over the line. We've heard that so many times in the past that it just melts our anuses to a point where, we don't want to hear it again. Hippie says, what I've taken away from this transfer window is there is a large number of opposing fans which have nothing better to do than post nasty stuff on X. Jesus, you know what? I agree with you. I have never, ever seen it as bad. Now, listen, since I started this channel and the channels grew to become what it is now, I've faced horrendous trolling online, right? Horrendous. People have tried to just destroy my life, basically, sitting in the bedrooms laughing and carrying on and all that garbage. Now, for me, a thick skin has been built and it goes over my head. Not everybody is like that, though. You've seen it this week. When Alex made those comments the other night about Manchester United, speaking from the heart he was, but then he got all that abuse. The Man United fans then start posting things on X about, Billy and who he looks like and all of this, and disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And then somebody yesterday posted that they were going to find me and beat me up and all of this. Christ, it's a game of football. Where's the banter gone? But these people use the online system now, and it's ridiculous. If they can't take a bit of banter, then they're good at giving it out, but they just can't take it, and that's just the way it goes. But look, it's been incredible. It's been a really, really incredible summer for all the wrong reasons. It really has. I've never known the fans go at each other like they go at now. It's just mental. The Liverpool fans with Isak, fair enough. A lot of that was banter, I think, and there wasn't really the disgust and stuff that the Manchester United fans have been posting, certainly about this channel and some of the guys who come on here. I think it's been absolutely disgraceful, to be honest. But listen, you can report them, you can do what you want, but does anything ever get done? I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. Imagine J7 smashing Isak out the season if he did leave. Listen, can I just say something? I think if he does go to Liverpool, I don't think he plays against us in the second game of the season. I think that will be one of the stipulations in the deal, is that Isak doesn't play, and maybe that'll be done behind the scenes. He's got a groin problem, or he's got this or that. I don't think he plays against us in that first game at St. James's Park. I really don't. I think the level of hatred directed at Isak would be on a crazy scale. I'm not saying on a scale of when Figo went back to Barcelona, with Real Madrid, and pigs' heads and stuff were thrown at Figo. That tends not to happen in the UK, but the level of hatred would be incredible. I don't think he plays, if I'm openly honest, if anything happens with that. Akine or Aken, thank you. Morning, Paul. I watched Larson play against Forest last season and other Wolves games. His movements around the 18-yard box is fantastic. I think he can fit in our system. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to get your guys' feedback, which is why I do the live shows, because I enjoy listening and reading what your feedback is. If I have an opinion on a player, then I like to be told that maybe I'm wrong. And certainly with Strand Larsen, I'm hearing good things from a lot of other people. So maybe he could be the answer. Jazz says, next transfer window, we should leak fake targets early, watch the cartel club snap them up, and then go for our real targets. But the problem is with that, Jazz, is he's still going to get the same problem with agents leaking it to the press. You're never going to keep a full target list quiet. Foxy says Tomiyasu sadly had shocking injuries, which is why Arsenal released him. He's out until October, November after knee surgery. Maybe we want to stay away. Rory says, I wouldn't want Watkins at his age. I'd prefer Visser. If you bought both, they wouldn't be worth anything in a couple of years and leave a big dent in PSR. Well, the thing is, Rory, where do we stand, though? Where do we go for here? You know, we're in a situation now where the Premier League kicks off in a week's time. The transfer window shuts a couple of weeks after that. Where do we go? The time is running out and the available players are running out. I heard this morning that Ramos at PSG, Newcastle United haven't really made any inquiries about him. He's not really on the target list, apparently. So that's not going to happen either by the looks of things. So where would you go? I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean about the sell-on value and things like that. But we have to look at the here and now as well. You know, I think we've looked too much into the future over the last few windows where we've kept things prim and proper, and we haven't been able to spend, and we've looked after our finances. But now we're in a position where, you know, I guess we have to forget about sell-on value for now and deal with the here and now, because the squad for the here and now is not big enough. The first 11 has quality in it. There's no doubt about that. Nobody's denying that. And I've said we've got our first 11 all fit and proper can beat anybody on the day. But it's when we start picking injuries up and suspensions, that's when the problems start arising. Dixon says, Dixon side, let's be real. He's going to play a first game and bag 2 goals and you'll forget about it. See, some people have said that. I don't think that's true. Certainly for me, I think he's got a long way to go before he gets back into the good books with a certain amount of Newcastle United fans. I know what everybody's saying. Oh, you're banging a couple of goals and everybody will forget it. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Stuart says, might as well sell Isak now if he doesn't want to play for us. Get the money in now, and hopefully we manage to use it before the deadline. Do you know what, Stuart? I think I'm at the point of agreeing with you because the Isak saga has gone on far too long. Newcastle don't want to sell or will only sell for 150 million quid. I think that the likelihood he's going to leave anyway, so let's get what we can for him and just move on. Just get him out the door. We don't want bad apples in that dressing room. And Eddie Howe has said that many, many times, that we don't want bad apples in the dressing room. We want them gone. We want them out. And then we move on as a football club. And I think, without a doubt, Isak is a bad apple in there now. I think a lot of the current squad have maybe just had enough of his antics and are not really very happy at all by what he's been doing. There are plenty of good strikers out there, but our scouting network is pitiful. Good individuals at club, but too few of them versus the elite clubs. Absolutely. It's what we're trying to build on. Doug, good morning, mate. I hope you're well. Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. Please go and check out his channel. Big friend of the channel. Big friend of mine as well. Congratulations on 40k, matey. We're nearly at 41 now. Funny enough, we're only a couple of hundred away from 41. It's been an incredible growth of recent weeks, but that is down to you guys out there, to be fair. Hasbo says, I would take Watkins and Visser in a heartbeat and use the Isak money to buy in other players to improve the overall squad. But that's just my opinion. Again, it is all about opinions. 100% all about opinions. And some people will see it as, you know, spending money elsewhere in the squad, get these 2 strikers in, just so we've got a strike force. You know, let's be honest. Watkins and Visser are very good strikers, right? Are they the elite standard of Isak? No, I don't think they are. Of course not. But they know where the back of the net is. They know how the Premier League works. They're physical. They're strong players. And I think they do a really good job for us in the short term. Paul, you'll always have your true supporters. You guys are great. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, we do have the family, family atmosphere that we created on this channel is fantastic. And you guys are incredible, the support we get from you. Absolutely incredible. I thought banter was illegal now, says Craig. Well, certain banter is illegal, yeah. Emma, good morning. Do you think we should have gone for free players, bring them in and help them get back to full strength? Look, I'm not sure what the free agent market looks like at the moment. Of course, Vlahovic is on there, but wages may be seen as a problem. Vlahovic himself may not want to come to the Premier League. He may be looking to stay in Italy or move around Europe somewhere. The Premier League may not be appealing to him. We don't know what's going on in Vlahovic's head. And to be honest, he's never been linked with us. So it's pointless talking about him. But free transfers just to build the squad up and work with these players, maybe. But we have to make sure we get quality in. We really do. CJ says, people see we are growing and are successful. It's just sour grapes, but the media just love to highlight our club and focus on our woes. I mean, look, there's been a lot of criticism regarding the likes of Fabrizio Romano and Ben Jacobs. And, of course, when the Sesko deal was done and dusted, the first tweet from Romano was then to go back to Isak again and talk about Isak. And how the Liverpool will probably come back in from that he does not want to play for Newcastle United. And I put on X, I thought, oh, here we go. You know, as soon as the Sesko deal's done, he's back to Isak again. And all the Newcastle fans were sort of having a go at him, saying, yeah, there's an agenda here. You're obviously, you know, looking after the top clubs. But the amount of Man United and Liverpool fans coming into the comments saying, oh, what's he supposed to do? He's a journalist. It's his job, etc. Oh, journalist does his job, big deal. They don't get it. They haven't a clue. Or they've just got blinkers on and they don't see the rhetoric that Romano and the likes are looking after the cartel. But if you're a cartel fan, you're obviously not going to see that, are you? Dean, thank you for your super chat. This shit show with Isak is down to the club. He has been a tosser, but should have been treated better. I think both are at fault, to be honest, mate. I think both are at fault. I think Newcastle, obviously Isak was promised with contracts, etc. Not sure the ins and outs of that. However, the way he's behaved has been absolute filth, disgusting. So I think there's a little bit of, certainly the club are to blame on some level, but also Isak for his behaviour. His disrespect towards Eddie Howe, his disrespect towards the fans has been mental. Absolutely mental. Steve says, how long did we work on getting 65 million? Isak, a couple of years. He has dishonoured his contract. Absolutely he has. Absolutely. John says, I would keep Isak and leave him on the bench. See how he likes being treated badly like he has to us. Yeah, but the problem is if we freeze him out, and somebody made this point yesterday when I mentioned, obviously, you know, letting him rot. Somebody then turned around and said, well, hang on a minute. We're paying him an awful lot of money. Do we really just want to keep paying him when that money could go somewhere else? We could sell him and then get on with things and just say, right, he's gone. Let's move on. Water gone under the bridge. A bad apple out of the club. We never, ever thought Isak would behave like this. And I said that weeks and weeks ago. I did not honestly think Isak would behave like this, but he has. Whether he's, you know, upset or not and in the huff, bollocks to him, to be honest. Bollocks. I've had it with him. I really have. And I don't see a way back for Isak. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think we're better off getting him out of the football club, deal with the rigmarole of it all in the short term, and then use that money to good effect. Simple as that. Nisa says, don't understand why Bruno, Joe Linton and Gordon all got contract improvements and Isak didn't. Gordon was on Mitchell's watch. Look, it depends what's been said behind the scenes, okay? And certainly, don't forget, Isak did get a new contract, by the way. You're missing the point here. Isak did get an improved contract, 220 grand a week. He signed it, which is why he's still got 3 years left of it now. He did get a contract improvement. It's just now, when you're telling a player he's worth 150 million quid, you've got to pay him the wages for a 150 million pound player. And that's where Newcastle have slipped up and made a mistake with all this. But Isak's behaviour is unforgivable. Mark Mullins with a super chat. Thank you, Mark. Morning, Paul. I think we should go all in for 6'6" Nick Voltemada and Johan Visser. Pay the extra if we bloody have to, just to have some balls. PIF. Yes, I agree 100%. I mean, how can I not agree with that? You know, let Voldemort now, you know, Bayern Munich, we're interested for weeks and weeks. Nothing's happened. Why don't we just go in there and pounce? Go and say, how much do you want for him? Pay the money and get him in the door. The same with Visser. Go and get them. Stop going in with these pitiful offers and just say to the clubs, we're at a time now where we need to turn around and say to these clubs, right, what do you want? How much do you want? And get the deals done. Go aggressive and sort something out. Ross with a super chat. Has Matty Target found his way back from Korea? Dear me. Adam with a super chat. Is it true we offered Sesko double the wages on top of a much higher fee to RB Leipzig? It's laughable, the bias to the cartel. Look, there was a report came out yesterday from Germany, I think, saying that Sesko had taken a wage cut to go to Manchester United, right? Do you honestly believe that? Do you honestly believe that Sesko has taken a wage cut to go and play for Manchester United? Please. Absolutely not. Don't believe everything, guys. I mean, that is as ridiculous as it's going to be. Look, Manchester United, as far as I can see, matched the same bid as Newcastle. And then Manchester United fans, by the way, once the deal was done, said, oh, it wasn't this, it was in the low 60s and all of this crap. Quite frankly, I couldn't give a toss right now because he's gone to Manchester United. It doesn't matter anymore, does it? It doesn't matter what we offered, what Sesko's decided. He's decided on Manchester United, so we move on. I couldn't give a toss what money's on, to be honest. John with a super chat. Love the morning shows. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Yeah, they seem to be very popular. We've got 2,000 in again this morning on both YouTube and X. So thank you very much, guys, for your support. It really, really does matter to know that, obviously, when we do new shows like this, that they do catch on and people are happy to do a morning show. Quite honestly, I love it. I get up on the morning now, get a cup of coffee, straight on the laptop, look through all the news and prepare what we're going to talk about in the show. So, and then you guys make the show as well by what you put in the comments, and we can talk about what you guys think as well. It's not just all about me talking to you. We like to respond to the comments that you make in the chat as well and chat about that. Christopher says Munyas at Fulham. Well, he's been mentioned a few times. Again, he was mentioned for a day or so, and then that disappeared down the well again. So I have no idea. There is strikers out there, but I think, I mean, where do we stand now? Because we know we need a defender. We know we need a centre-back. Left-back cover for Lewis Hall is needed because I don't think Matt Target's the answer there. We definitely need another midfielder because we're short now. But the flip side of that is Eddie Howe looking at some of the young academy players now to burst through onto the first team scene? Has he seen enough? Has he seen enough of them? So I don't know. I mean, he's not really renowned for playing a lot of the kids, is he? Let's be honest. But maybe he's got a different plan this year. Darren Lee says it should shame the board level at the club is a mess, and they're dragging their feet this summer. Well, we're an embarrassment. As we said this last night, we're a banter club at the moment on social media, and that's not going to change. Definitely not. Rich, good morning. I have to say the agenda against Newcastle from the mainstream media is so obvious now. It's almost as if the Premier League are controlling them to push narratives to stop us progressing. I agree with that. Stefan says it's going to force Eddie's hand to play more youngsters in the first couple of rounds in the Cups. Yes. Now, could it be a detriment to Eddie that he's got to do that, especially when we're trying to defend the Carabao Cup this season? Possibly. Tony, good morning. Hello, Paul. As a Liverpool fan, I'd just like to say Newcastle are a great club and have fantastic fans. Selling clubs know you need players badly. They will try and squeeze every penny they can from you. Well, that's certainly been what's been happening for years now, hasn't it, since the takeover, really. We've always looked at players and then thought, right, we've all discussed as fans what could be a good offer for a certain player, and then it's turned out to be well too low. Teams are just putting Newcastle tax on. I don't think that's really changed. What is happening with Van Heck? Nothing at all. There's another player who was highly linked to us at the beginning of the window by a lot of journalists, and then boom, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Dark by Design says, I would love to see Ekitike, Salah, and Sesko all injured and out for the season. That's what I would like. I don't want to see players injured, mate. Maybe, yeah, certainly against us, maybe pick up the odd hamstring injury. But look, we're football fans at the end of the day. We all want to see the best players in the Premier League. It doesn't really work well at the moment for the rest of us. We always have to seemingly see these incredible talents playing in different shirts. I'd like to see some of these talents in a black and white shirt, but at the minute, the way the financial regulations work, that ain't going to happen. And I think we've all accepted that now anyway as Newcastle fans, that it just ain't going to happen. Double Line says, at least it's not the fans people think are a joke, it's your owners. Well, I mean, yeah, sensible heads will look at the owners, but the melons and the dickheads out there will aim it at the fans and be abusive. But what can you do? Northern Golfer says we need to invest in the academy and make it the best in the world, and eventually we will have the superstars on the pitch for little pounds. Well, I think we've invested heavily over the last couple of years in the academy, massively. And there is some talent there now in the academy without a shadow of a doubt. And it's an opportunity to bring these players on and give them the opportunity. But Eddie isn't renowned for doing that, though. That's the problem. Will he change his ways with the likes of the academy? Why not ask for money and player for Isak would benefit us? Just a thought. Well, to be honest, you know, Harvey Elliott is sitting there, and a lot of people have said that would love to go for Harvey Elliott. So try and include him somewhere in the Isak deal. At least we're getting something back with a whole host of money as well. I don't know. I don't know whether we've mentioned that to Liverpool or not. Maybe we have, maybe we haven't. Dave with the super chat. Nothing better than TTR banging out the speakers in the workshop on a Friday morning. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Dave. Much appreciated, my friend. Let's have a look at some of your other comments here. Len says, even if we sell Isak for 100 million, we would struggle to get a great player. Look at all the players we couldn't get when we offered huge amounts. Absolutely, Len. Absolutely. You know, it doesn't matter really, does it, how much money we've got in the pot? It's the fact that we can't seem to attract the players to the club. And that's the real worry for me, is that we can't attract the players to St. James's Park. We you know, we talk about the financial restrictions and things like that, okay? Obviously, money talks a lot, but you've got to have good negotiators. You've got to have powerful people who know what they're doing in these sort of negotiations. And Newcastle United haven't got that right now. We don't have that ruthlessness in the boardroom to go and say, right, we are going aggressive to get this deal. We really want this player, like the Man United's, Liverpool's, Chelsea's, all the, you know, top clubs do. They have people at the very top who are very, very good at what they do and are very, very good at transfers, negotiations, contracts, all that kind of stuff. But right now, we're just sitting there without a captain, and the ship, as Alex put last night, is just floating on the water, and we're seeing all these big other cruise liners sail past us. And at the moment, I don't see that changing. Certainly not unless the financial rules change to better everybody. I don't want, you know, I kind of agree with Brian the True Geordie when he said that, you know, he doesn't want no rules to be in place. There has to be some rules in place with financial regulations, but it has to be fair across the board for every team in the Premier League, and it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. There is clubs in the Premier League who will kowtow and bow down to these big clubs and, oh, yes, we'll agree with you on that. But there's other clubs who really need to be set free here and make it a bit more of a battle at the top. That's what people want to see. They don't want to see the same three clubs battling it out for the championship every single season. They want, look when Leicester did it. Look, everybody wanted Leicester to win the league because it was somebody different. So, yeah. Peter says, you're spot on, Paul. We're not aggressive enough in transfers. Vischer should have been here weeks ago. Even an extra few million would have been worth it to get some time in with the squad. Exactly. I mean, look, the Visser thing really pissed me off because we were only, what was it, 5 million quid difference? for what Brentford were asking to what we were offering. Come on. I mean, 5 million quid to us is an awful lot of money. However, in footballing terms, 5 million is not a lot, right? It's just not a lot. And I really can't believe we haven't got Visser through the door. Rich, good morning, matey. Morning, Paul. Sometimes understand players going for money, etc. But the one thing I can't get my head around is when a player would prefer a particular team and their club accept the lower offer. Match it. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Jazz says there definitely needs to be rules in place, but the current ones in place are shocking. The current ones in place suit the cartel. We all know that. We're not stupid. Right? And the Premier League can say whatever they want, and the cartel clubs can say whatever they want. We're not stupid fans here. We know how it works. We know that the financial restrictions in place now are to make sure that nobody can break the cartel. It's as simple as that. And that will never go away until there is new rules in place that are fair for everybody. This isn't financial fair play at all. It's financial fraud play, if you ask me, because it just does not benefit anyone outside of the cartel. Anyone. And nobody will convince me otherwise. Craig Welsh has been a member for 18 months. Onwards and upwards, Paqueta and Elliott and Visser and DCL. Make the best of it for a year. He always crops up in our shows, doesn't he? Whether it's me mentioning him or somebody in the chat. He always crops up. Mark Mullins, thank you for another super chat. Paul, have you seen a young man on YouTube called called TM Talks? I watched him this morning about Newcastle. For a young man, he's spot on with the player we should go and get and just pay the money. Nathan Collins. Do you know what? Nathan Collins has been mentioned before. Again, not a great deal of money and not the elite, brilliant, massive name of a marquee signing. But what Nathan Collins gives you is grit, determination, and strength. Premier League experience wouldn't be a bad signing for me. But again, he's a player that's never, ever mentioned in the press. So certainly I've never seen any links to Newcastle for him. But you know what? It's becoming a huge pain in the ass. David says, stop. Isak wanted to leave last season. He was lied to. Stop being blind. Right. Open your ears up, please, and listen, Ross. Okay? Sorry, not Ross. Who made that comment there? I don't know what's gone now, but whatever. Whoever made that comment, open your ears up, because I've already said many, many times, and I'll say it again, okay? I understand from Isak's side, and I've said this 3, 4, 5,000 times on this channel, that I can see it from both sides. Isak clearly was told something by Mitchell or by Amanda that didn't happen. Mitchell then turned around and said, that's not happening. Okay? I understand why Isak is pissed. Okay? I understand that as a £150 million player that you're valuing, you have to pay him the wages of a £150 million player. That's just the way it works. We ain't got that kind of money to pay 300 grand a week to. Okay? But Isak's behavior in all of this has been disgusting. So I'm not blind to anything. I can see it from both sides. I disagree with the way Newcastle have gone about it, but I certainly disagree with the way Isak's gone about it. There is better ways than what he has done. By shitting on Eddie Howe, who has done nothing but get this guy going and to where he is now, considering where he was when we signed him. Nobody wanted to take a chance on Isak, but Eddie did. And Eddie has nurtured him and brought him on to the player he is now since signing from Sociedad. So I think he's shit on Eddie from the highest point possible. He's shit on the fans who lauded this guy. He was a hero. He was becoming a legend in our eyes. But he is shit on us by his behavior. There is better ways of going about it. But there you go. I mean, that's just, you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but I can see it from both sides. I don't agree with Newcastle promising one thing and then changing their minds. When obviously Amanda left, Mitchell comes in, it all changes. But sometimes that happens in football when you get somebody else coming into somebody's job and changing the way it is. Was there anything written to Isak, or was it just a verbal agreement he had with Amanda? I don't know. We'll never know. But his behaviour is what the problem is for me. I understand why he's pissed, but I do not agree with his behaviour. He's behaved like a child, and he's let a lot of people down with his behaviour. But listen, it's always going to cause a stir, right? It always is going to cause a stir, no doubt about it. But look, as soon as he said he was exploring his options, that was it for me and a lot of Newcastle fans. It's obvious what he was going to do. It's obvious. You don't say you want to explore your options and then just sort of, explore your options. That means you want to leave the football club. Come on. If you don't want to leave Newcastle United, then you don't explore options, do you? What's the point? If you're happy and content and you know you're going to stay at Newcastle United, you don't explore options. So, whatever. But Isak's done for me. I can't look at him the same way, and I don't think a lot of Newcastle United fans can. I think the best for everybody is to sell Isak, get him gone, but obviously sell him for the right amount of money. Don't just bow down to Liverpool and say, all right, we'll take that, actually. Sell him, get a good deal for Isak, and move the hell on. Move the hell on and just get on with life. Because no one player is bigger than this fucking badge, I'll tell you now. Not one player is bigger than this badge. So he doesn't want to be proud to wear this badge and proud to wear it for the fans, for the club. He can fuck off. And I've said that before. I just think the bad apple needs to go, and, we'll deal with the consequences. Whether that means that we just struggle with strikers for now until January, whatever it may be. I just want him gone, because he's already made it quite clear that he doesn't want to play for this football club that we all bleed black and white for. He wants out. And that's it for me. That's my stance on it. I can't look at him the same way again. And I don't care whether he comes back and bags loads of goals. I know that he doesn't want to really be there. That's the difference. But anyway, we'll see what happens with Isak in the coming days, whether that changes, whether Liverpool come back in or not. I have no idea. But we'll turn our attention, obviously, the next live show is tonight at 7:15. We've got live commentary of Newcastle against Espanyol with myself and Billy. Really looking forward to seeing the lads turn out at St James's Park today and tomorrow, of course. So if you're not going to the game, join us for that. If you've bought the games, you can watch it and listen to our commentary, which is far better than any other commentary, by the way. And yes, I'm being very biased with that comment. Listen to us, watch the game. Or if you can't watch the game at all, then listen to us as well. We'll keep you fully informed of the whole of the 90 minutes. So we'll see what side Eddie Howe puts out. We know for a fact that Isak is not going to be there. He is being completely left out. Damn right he is being left out. But there you go. Paul says, loving the morning live shows, Paul. I'm a postie in Dublin on my rounds. Your shows help the mundane of the day and the transfer. Thank you, mate. Very, very kind. Really appreciate that. Thank you for all your support again this morning, guys. Thank you for your super chats and memberships. Mods, you've been incredible again. Thank you so much. But you guys out there, thank you so much for the support we've had. I think this is the third breakfast show now. This will continue. Mark Mullins has sent another super chat in there. I personally think sell him now, but do a deal for Harvey Elliott plus some money. Yeah, agreed. Thank you to everybody. These breakfast shows, it's a very early start at 9:30, but the reaction I've had, the support we've had is fantastic. So thank you very, very much. It's really good for me as well, looking at the morning news and then talking about it to you guys and then seeing how the day develops. But if anything does develop, we'll either go live or we'll do a video. And of course, join us at 7 o'clock tonight. Sorry, 7:15. I do apologize. 7:15 for live commentary of Newcastle against Espanyol. We'll have a great show as per usual. Enjoy your Friday. Please don't forget to hit the like button as well before you leave. Very important to the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel and help us. We're nearly at 41,000 now. You guys are absolutely awesome. But have a great day, folks. And we will see you again a bit later on. Take care.
Come back and check out some green.